What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's happening into the day of trading? Alright, let's have a look at what's unfolded today. Alright, let's see. Okay, first of all, let's go to a 5 minute so I can show you guys. We're still in this fair value gap section here. We'll go through this trade just now, and we've got all this lower highs posing some liquidity for us, so we could see some price spike up here, and we'll look for a move. If there's no move, then it's also fine. Let's just jump to a 1 minute quickly, and let's see. Alright guys, you guys can see I took a trade here, and I've posted this on my community channel, on my YouTube channel. So the reason behind this was, you'll see I've got a little fair value gap here. It's very small, but it's there, right? And the reason I took that, or looked for, taking that trade, is because we had this liquidity down here, because we had this open gap, or this push up. So there's the big gap left open, and we've spiked just into it before we ran higher, and then we turned around running these highs, and I was just waiting for this fair value gap. We didn't do anything. We just continuing, falling lower, and then we saw this nice consolidation, spike into it, and a rejection. I took a short there, and I was targeting the sell side over here, and as you can see, very little to nothing, no drawdown, and basically just grinding lower. And then after that, we start going lower with lower highs, lower lows. And this is all liquidity building up here, so I don't know if this will spike into this area, maybe that 270.67 area. And yeah, so one thing I want to show you guys as well, 9:30 this morning, we saw this nice big push up, and if you have watched my fair value gap video, you'll see how this played out. And let me explain this quickly while we wait for something to happen in the market. Alright, so we saw this push up, and these are the lows, and if you really mark it out, you'll see a fair value gap formed just above the 50%, but a portion of that fair value gap is below the 50%. And again, guys, remember, anything below 50% is discount, anything above it is premium. So whenever you buy something, you want to buy it as cheap as possible, so anything in discount, that's a good place to buy. And that is where this bottom end of this fair value gap becomes interesting. And as you can see, all this bodies of these candles all close above this dotted line, which is the 50%. And yes, and then you could have traded this thing higher. I mean, there's no fair value gaps in this move other than this one, so that was a good one to enter. Just another good example is how fair value gaps actually works. And let's see if there was anything here. I mean, I don't want to nitpick, but there's a little fair value gap there. I just don't know from there to there. So you would have done, see, this fair value gap is below 50%. We spike above that, which is good, but there's no fair value gap. So I did not take any trade. I missed this trade, but I managed to find this trade and take it to the sell side. Alright, so let's have a look. Okay, so it looks like the tide is turning. We're trading from a fair value gap as you can see, again we bounce, and then we've got this inverted fair value gap. I'm going to just make that orange, and then the target here would be up here. If we now close above this black candle, I will look to take a buy there and targeting up here. But we need to see a close above this high of this black candle. We've run this liquidity. That white candle did not close above there, push up. There's no fair value gap in here to take a test, so it all depends on this white candle. If it's going to close aggressively above this black candle's high, then we might look at a buy, but for now I'm just not interested yet. Let's call this target. Target on the right side. See, no entry yet. Price again stuck between a fair value gap and an inverted fair value gap that gets inverted again. It's never a good thing. So for now, there's nothing for us to chase. Let's go to 4 hourly. Let's see what happened there. Just hide everything. Let's take this off as well. Execution. Alright, so you guys can see this lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we managed to fail to take out this high to make a higher high. Let me start over again. That's higher high, lower, higher low, higher low, higher low. All these lows creates liquidity. Now what's interesting here is this low here created nice equal lows. Sell side, and there's obviously liquidity down here. So we could see from a 4 hour we got this big push down today, a little bit of a pullback, running that high. So now the target could be this low to go lower. So then we could look to target, well, let's call it at 769. 769 is a good target. I don't know, look, it's been so aggressive today. I don't know if we're going to go there now. But I mean, there is momentum here. Actually going to try it. Nice to wait. Okay, so this fair value gap here as a retest is right here. nice in there. And again, 50% is right above there, so this top part, that's a good place to, so at that 50% would be a nice place to take a short, and not down here where I've taken my short. Okay, let's keep an eye on that 50%. Alright, so obviously you guys can see I took a little bit of a done trade here. That dotted line of the orange box, that is what you should be targeting. Be 50% of this swing to there is at that 50%. So if you want to sell, you want to do it at premium, so this is a good place to sell. And then obviously we've got this level down here, which is this level here, and that comes into a 4-hourly equal lows. So that 6 a.m. low, that's possibly a target, but let's see what price does here. Okay, so we don't want to see this candles close outside of this orange box, and like I said, that dotted line, that's a point of interest. You can see a spike through it, as long as we don't take this high out, and then some sort of a push lower. Alright, now it would be great to see a close below this line. Then I'll be confident that I'm on site and target lower price. But this candle's got to close below this white candle's low. Okay, so I'm probably going to get stopped there. That's fine, because we've got all this liquidity here, and there's a target up here that we marked out earlier. only reason I took the short here is because we saw this liquid, consolidation type of move and inversion of this fair value gap. The mistake I made here was I entered as we saw the push lower. The right thing would have been to wait for price to come back into this fair value gap up here, close below this white candle, then take the short. Obviously I didn't do that, so now it's just a matter of sit and wait. Okay, so I'm actually sorry, that's not it. Closing this trade, $80, and the reason I'm closing that is these fair value gaps, both these got inverted, and now looks like it's testing it. And if we close this as a black candle and we close above the high of that black candle, I would look to buy and potentially ride it to this target up here. As you guys can see, there's higher lows forming here. That's liquidity, and if this is real fair value gaps, I would obviously look for a close above this. But then I just want to bounce back to the 4 hourly to also show you guys why I took the short. The reason I took that short was I thought this white candle up here, it's a little bit of a pullback. We spiked through the high, and then I thought we're gonna push lower to close below this low of this white candle. And or even if we close below 50%, then there's a chance we could go lower. But seeing that we've gone so far down today already, I mean, we could, let's just take it from here down to here. I mean, that's 50%, so you shouldn't be selling up here. You want to see price go into this fair value gap. The problem is we've got a fair value gap here, fair value gap here, and an opening gap here. So you need to find one that's holding. And when staggered like that, it's normally not a good idea to try to pick one. Anything above 50% is normally a good one. It's always good to find one solid fair value gap to target, but in this case, I don't know, we'll have to see. Or we're gonna just move sideways here, bouncing around these areas. Maybe it's a good time of day if you just want to scalp, or if you obviously just want to sit and not do anything. Alright, so while we wait on that, quick one here. We, on that fair value gap video that I made, I mean, here's another example. You got this fair value gap, price comes right into it. All you got to do now is take the low that initiated push, and you'll see you could have entered right here below 50%. Here's another one. There's your swing point. And nothing at that point. There's a nice entry in there to take it higher. So basically this is happening on all time frames and not just 1 minute and lower time frames. If we close below this up candle, that white candle, then I would look maybe for a short. But currently we still see price moving range, sideways. So maybe not a great idea to look for any trades right now. So just see which one actually holds here. I want to see this body close below this dotted line. Okay, not like that. Okay, let's see, there's a gap down here. Which I'm not going to touch right now. Close below that white candle. Which is this one here. Then we might see some acceleration to the downside. Look, we can see a test of that wick. So if you really want, you can sell one there. Oh, just missed it. See that nice test. Okay, so it picked us up. Stop loss is above here, which is $42. And now we okay, I'm probably gonna get stopped on this one as well. Okay. So basically what's happening right now is we literally building our position or liquidity on higher low, higher low, higher low, higher lows, and then lower high, lower high, lower high, lower, 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 lower. So it's literally squeezing people in, and it will manipulate into a direction before it goes obviously opposite, or it will just tank into one or shoot up to the other. And I think what we need to do now is maybe just sit and wait. Let's have a look something, yeah, quickly. That was the 930 candle, but this was the fairly gap. Okay, so this big block, yeah, that's the first presented fair value gap today, and we bouncing around below this 50% level, so which make me think we want to go low down here first, but we'll have to just sit and wait. And see whether we want to take these highs, you know, what liquidity it wants to take out first. So or maybe it's just a matter of, because the whole day we had some decent move to the downside and somewhat of a pullback, that it might close off the day just, you know, just consolidate within this range, which is also fine as long as we're not getting caught and end the day in a loss. I'm pretty down for the day, well, pretty flat, so I'm down $5. And that's because I took 3 trades, 1 winner and 2 losers. So for now, let's just keep an eye on it. Okay, so just to show you guys, so this white candle close above this down candle here, so we might see it go back into that 50%. I think that 2010 level is a good level. Okay, and there we go, taking all this liquidity into that 50%. Now it's just a matter of, do we go all the way to this target, or do we actually reverse here to go lower? See, our prices went straight to the 50% dotted line, and now it's moving lower. I mean, it could go to this wick and then run up, or just completely drop lower. I'm just looking for something specific. Okay, so if we close above this black candle, then I guess we want to see some sort of a move up. But for as long as we respecting this 50% dotted line, I won't touch it now. Alright, let's see what it wants to do. So there's nothing solid here that convinces me of a move. I mean, lower, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So I want to see some move up and a rejection with a shift to the opposite direction. If not, then we're either going to go sideways or continue a little bit higher here. So if we close solid up here, just want to say if it's a, okay, it's not. Like that. This could be just running this highs. Nice to see some sort of a pullback in here, maybe around here. If we run up the page before we get triggered in this long, then obviously I'll just cancel the buy limit, but it would be good to see. So this fair value gap looks like a good place for entry if it comes back to test anything. And guys, it's simple. If we don't get picked up down here, run straight there, that's fine. Then we'll just look for some sort of a reversal to come down again. If this is coming down, it's most probably only going to come down to there. Still a 2 to 1 if we can get it. It looks like we're gonna just go there straight. No entries. I also can't take a trade up here because then it comes down and I get this big drawdown. So I'm just gonna let it play out. And see if it creates some sort of fair value gap up here to get inverted. Then that would be a much better trade for us. And leave this big one here. because 50% might be a new target when we return. See what happens in this fair value gap now. Still at least come into this. Let's look at this just to show you. See, 50% is here, so literally just a step in the upper half of this fair value gap would be good for a long. But just stop below this fair value gap and target this target up here. Right there. Into this black candle here. See if it holds price here and close above the 50%. Just run above this high. Look at that nice pin there. Nope, close below the dotted line, so I'm not interested in a long yet. If we close above that, and what you must remember now, you've got a fair value gap here, we're trading from it, so this bigger fair value gap here, you need to invert that first for price to go higher. Then the question is, where's the next, because this target's to close. And then we will have to look at something further, and we might look at the top here. Let's take a long here, and I think I'm gonna go for this target there, and then I'll just put a stop right below here. Okay, so what we need to see now is we need to see this getting inverted. That's obviously not the best look, and we're stuck between two fair value gaps. I thought we'll see a more aggressive move to close above here. See if we can get this this gap inverted. So far the bodies is holding, the bodies, this 50% of this fair value gap is holding. Close below that 50% of that fair value gap is not a good sign. That could potentially send price lower first, or maybe leave that buy side up there and just drop from here for some sort of sell side that we marked out earlier. Alright, so that's trade done, and basically what it is, we run that, and now there's all this sell side down here. Which is now back at the 50% of that first fair value gap. So we just stepped out, came back in, consolidate right here. So let's see what we're gonna do right here. See if we can tack in with that sell limit. Probably just gonna bounce from here. See if we can get it close below this white candle and out of this fair value gap. Give us a nice nope, it looks like we want to go screw to the upside again. Alright, so what I'm seeing right now is that dotted line of this fair value gap is holding price. Price comes back to it, and price is just around here, holding it. We run some liquidity, we got some buy sides still all the way up here, and even, you know, to these little equal highs up here at the 380 level. But then we've got some big target down here which is equal lows, and now we're just stuck here. I need to get some momentum somewhere. Got all this liquidity down here. At least we need to come to this 41, 44 level. Okay, now we get some momentum to the downside. Let's see if we can get all the way. Okay, so this white candle should hold price for us. See if we can see, you know, obviously get that push down to this 140 level. I'm obviously just around here to play it safe, 145. Nice little push down there. See if we can push all the way to that 140 level. Still stuck at that 160 level, 159. Might see some sort of a pullback here. We'll just drop through that 140 quickly. 154, 150s, 147. Come on. 145, 148, 140. There we go. And that's a good trade to end of the day. And we ended up $82 in profit for this little micro account. Yeah, so let's have a look if we can get to that 140s, and then we've got a bigger target lower. Again, guys, there's our fair value gap. 50% of the range is down here. Spike right into it, reject, and then invert, retest. Again, if you want to do that math, take your high, 50% of that fair value gap, right at 75. So anything above here, test in there, and then send price lower to these liquidities on the side. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically all that I've got for you guys today on this live stream. I'll be back tomorrow for more, and let's see if we can find these trades again. Yeah, hope you guys had a profitable good day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.